I am known as the Black Swordsman, but where does my story begin? After meeting with the Band of the Hawks, after leaving Griffith, or on that day of the eclipse? I was born beneath a tree, one that was laden with hanging corpses. There, amidst blood and mud, I came into this world. My mother, whom I never knew, left me a legacy of death and despair. But it was then that a caravan of mercenaries happened upon this gruesome scene and stopped. Their leader was a man named Gambino, and his wife, Shisu, whose gaze shifted from the tree's grim adornments to me. She picked me up in her arms. All the mercenaries thought Shisu had gone mad from her miscarriage, picking up a corpse, which prompted Gambino to shout at her,
"Shishu, stop playing with that piece of flesh,"
causing me to fall to the ground. Perhaps that was when I took my first breath of life. Gambino was astonished, thinking how long I might survive, and for his wife's amusement, he allowed me to stay with her. Perhaps that was the only kindness I had ever received in my life, in the form of Shisu. For her, I was a spark of life in a world filled with death. She named me, loved me. Those first 3 years, where she gave me a mother's love, were the only time I felt maternal affection. But fate is cruel. The plague took her away, and I was left alone with only the cold comfort of her memories. I was sad, but I knew life would only get tougher. Gambino, her husband, or should I say my father, kept me around, but not out of pity. To him, I was a burden, a memento of Shisu's love which he never received. He taught me to fight, to survive, but his lessons were hard, filled with hatred and severity. Every day was a battle, not just against enemies, but against his growing hatred for me. I learned to wield a sword quickly. It was my only companion. By the age of 6, I had become part of their battles, a child among men fighting for survival. And that day I killed for the first time. But then I was attacked, and I would have died had my father not saved me. The world of mercenaries does not forgive. It is filled with violence and deceit. I grew up in this chaos, my childhood dreams replaced by the harsh reality of blood and steel. After a battle, some mercenaries praised me, and the coins I received as a reward I gave to my father. But there was someone else who wanted something from me. That night, exhausted from battle, I was resting when Donovan entered my room and attacked me. But when I realized his intentions, I resisted him. However, when I found out that Gambino had sold me for 3 silver coins, my whole body shook. What Donovan did to me shook me to my core. I didn't realize it at the time, but it would become a lifelong trauma. The next morning, I confronted Gambino directly, sword in hand. But when he showed no sign of betrayal and outright denied the accusations, I decided to face Donovan myself. And I did just that, improving my sword skill. 'Cause 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 battles, and in the next battle, Donovan, separated from the army, got lost in the jungle, and I punished him right there, killing him. It was the first kill I made for myself. But by then, it was too late. Donovan's actions had a lasting effect on me. From that day on, if anyone tried to touch me, my reaction was always violent. But life's story was about to become even more difficult. In that same battle, my father lost a leg. The leader of the band of mercenaries could no longer fight, but I took it as a responsibility and continued to fight in upcoming battles. Then one day, in a battle, I killed an army general and received a substantial reward in coins, which I decided to give to my father. But that day too, Gambino pushed me away and scolded me for not feeding his dog.
You piece of crap! You again bent for fighting? Why didn't you feed my dog?
I went back to my tent, exhausted, to sleep. Gambino came into my tent, intending to kill me. I couldn't understand why my own father wanted me dead. But in a drunken rage, Gambino told me the truth. He had sold me to a predator in the camp for 3 coins. He considered me a cursed being because of whom his wife died, and he lost his leg. That night, something broke inside me, a trust that could never be mended. And when he tried to kill me, my survival instincts kicked in, and I killed him. My father figure, the man who had raised me, taught me to fight. I had to flee because all the mercenaries thought I had killed Gambino, and I ran all night, somehow managing to shake them off. And the next day, another mercenary band was passing by in need of soldiers, and they took me with them. After that, life was a constant struggle. I went from one mercenary band to another, fighting every day for survival. I learned not to trust anyone, to rely only on my sword. There is no place for weakness or mercy in this world. Kill or be killed. So here I stand, scarred by my past, but not broken. I have been shaped by hardships, by this cruel world, but I refuse to be defined by it. I am Guts, born from death, but not bound.